I absolutely love shitty movies. When it comes to bad movies, I'm the preeminent expert in the field. If bad movies were a disease, then I'm the patient zero. I just fucking love bad movies. That being said, I found a real shit piss stinker today. It's called Airplane Mode, and I've seen no one talking about it, at least not yet. If you're over the age of 12, then it has 23 of your least favorite people on the internet. It's a YouTube movie that stars Logan Paul and douchebags like Logan Paul, Lele Pons and shit like that, all just screaming for an hour and a half. The movie is downright insufferable. I had to do something I've never done in my 25 years. I had to break up watching the movie. I watched it in two halves. I watched the first half and I just needed a break. I needed a respite. Fucking did some jumping jacks, jogged around. I had to go back in the locker room, start slapping my teammates' ass to encourage them, except it was just my ass I was slapping. You know, good game, let's get out there in the second half and really get after it. Came back, finished it in the second chunk, and it was just as bad. I've never had to break up watching a bad movie. I always one-shot it, real time, like a real man. I'm no pussy bitch when it comes to bad movies. I can handle just about anything, but this was a whole new beast. I'm not exaggerating. It is that bad. And what makes it even worse is I can't show you all the bad things because of how this movie is going to be protected by YouTube since it's one of their originals. All I can do is show you the trailer to illustrate it, and the trailer's abominable. The trailer shows you just about everything you need to know about how bad the movie is and what you're in for. But I mean, it's a real shame because I wanted to do what I did for Max Steel, where I break down the movie start to finish and I use clips from the movies to talk about why it's bad, what's going on. But I can't do that for this one, but I will do my best to illustrate and put into words why this movie is as bad as it is. I know the big shitter going around the internet right now is called Swiped, and yeah, it's a really fucking bad movie. That movie sucks fuck real hard. But it's got nothing on Airplane Mode. Airplane Mode makes that movie look like a fucking Oscar nominee. That movie, in comparison to Airplane Mode, is a Citizen's Kane. Airplane Mode is a whole new ballgame that I've not experienced before. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to show you the trailer a little bit here, and we'll start breaking it down scene by scene and just going over the trailer.
Okay, seriously, what is #Acon?
Bro, it's the biggest social media convention ever.
Yeah, man, #Acon. Everyone's gonna be there.
People get laid at convention.
Is that like a thing?
Let's do it!
Yeah, so it's about Logan Paul and other equally douchey internet personalities getting together to go to #Acon, a giant social media convention, and this is one of the loudest goddamn things I've ever heard in my life. This movie makes a head-on-head train collision sound peaceful in comparison. If I was inside the Chernobyl nuclear reactor during the first steam explosion, that would have been quieter than this movie, I imagine. This movie is beyond loud. I can't even express that enough. It's as if all of these talentless goobers thought to be a good actor, all they had to do was be super fucking loud, because that's all they do. It's as if you've wandered into a daycare after all the kids have had 3 cans of Coke and are now going into cardiac arrest from a sugar overdose.
Hide your drugs and hide your liquors, because we searching everybody around here.
Not only is it super fucking loud and a complete buttfuck of all your senses, it also is dated with some of the stalest memes of all time. They have the hide your kids, hide your wife guy there for that one, and they have a lot of other super stale memes. It's unbelievable. They have the leave Britney alone, and it's even in the trailer. It's coming up, so just fucking prepare yourself. Get one hand on your dick and ready to rumble, because it's brutal. It is just so... I can't even imagine scripting this movie or signing up to be a part of this movie. How anyone could be proud of it or think it's going to do well. I can't even imagine a kid enjoying those kind of references. Half the references they make in this movie are older than their audience, so they're not even going to get them to begin with. It's unbelievable how just fucking delusional they are to think that this movie would work in any capacity. I don't know when it was filmed. Maybe it was filmed in the past, but it came out this week. So it's a new movie, thus it's going to be judged as such. It also has this identity crisis because it doesn't seem to know what kind of demographic it wants to hit. The audience of all of these YouTubers are primarily children. Every single douchebag here has an audience of kids. And yet the movie opens with Logan Paul trying to jerk off while having video sex with his girlfriend. So it's not exactly suitable for kids, which is their audience, and nothing, no jokes or anything they make in this movie would work on anyone over the age of 12. So I don't know what the fuck kind of area it was trying to hit, but it is truly lost within its own asshole.
Please turn your cellular to airplane setting.
I'd rather die than turn my...
What the hell is going on?
It's your cell phone!
I understand most YouTubers have the mentality of a 9-year-old, but my god, that's really going hard on that stereotype there. They fucking turn into a football team dogpiling over a fumble for no reason. Like nothing had happened yet. They just said airplane mode, and then everyone turned into like a goddamn feral animal as they were just fucking ferociously taking photos of each other and ripping their shirts off. It makes no sense in the movie either. It's just really fucking dumb. I get the intention is for it to be, lol, how wacky these internet stars would rather turn into homunculus fighting over drops of water than turn on airplane mode, because they are so connected and so fucking dumb. And people wonder why everyone looks at YouTubers as fucking vapid losers and no one respects the profession. Probably because of shit like this. This is kind of the perception most people have of YouTubers, because these are huge channels and they are huge fucking douchebag loser man children. So I do get it, and it's rough to watch it in this movie. It's embarrassing. Just even sitting there watching it, it's fucking embarrassing.
The pilots are dead! What should we do? I need you to figure this out. Maybe someone else has a plan. Leave Britney alone!
Yeah, there's the leave Britney alone thing I gave you a warning about earlier. It's really that bad. It truly is. And then the dude pulls a Logan Paul by filming himself with dead bodies, and then they have to fly the plane because the plane's gone down because everyone's on their phone. It's super shitty. Super, super shitty. And again, the references and memes and stuff are beyond outdated. I was shocked to not see the Crazy Frog or Peanut Butter Jelly Time come into play. Maybe it did happen and I'm just fucking forgetting about it. Maybe the Men in Black have already neuralized me to help me out and not remember most of this movie, but my god, it is that bad. It sucks some fat dickhole. I really can't. I want to show parts of this movie to help show you how bad it is, but since my Max Steel video got blocked, even though I did exactly what I Hate Everything and all the other ones do, I'm not going to do that with a YouTube movie because they're even stricter than something like the Max Steel Studios. So I'm not going to take that chance of this getting blocked because I need people to see how bad this movie is. No one's talking about it, and this is the worst movie out right now. Easily. It makes Swiped look so good in comparison.
Straight. You're right.
I got this. You're not a terrorist, are you, mate?
No, I'm a social media sensation. There is no social media convention. With all of you dead.
Even the fucking trailers mainly screams, and the movie goes even harder. Of the hour-and-a-half runtime, I'd say about an hour of it is just straight screaming in agony, or yelling shitty jokes, or yelling to make your punchline comedic or something. I don't really know, but it's just mainly yelling, just really guttural. What, you're not laughing? Oh man, what? But we did everything we could. The writing was so good. The writing makes fucking Neil Breen look like a mastermind. And in his own right, Neil Breen is. But you get what I'm saying. It's so fucking bad. And I also hate this trend. And this is definitely going to ruffle a few scrotums. I hate where dancing is the joke, like goofy dancing. That epic dancing stuff, that's the comedy. I hate that. That shit sucks ass. And that's a big portion of this too. Dancing is a lot of times what the joke is. And that sucks some fat ass too.
Give me that selfie stick! Do you know how to drive a 767?
I just wanted to say this movie fucking sucks. Just a quick reminder.
I got this.
I mean, if you don't got this, then who got this?
I guess I'm gonna need to get this.
Oh, this best gonna get got this.
Nobody better to go and get this and get me.
After sitting through the whole movie, I feel like I need to be either admitted to Arkham Asylum or go to some type of Alcoholics Anonymous, like Airplane Anonymous or something. It's really that bad. It's never something I say lightly when something is genuinely awful, because I like to poke fun at it and find like, hey, you know, it was really bad, but enjoyably bad in these points here and there, and I did enjoy my time with it because I love bad movies. I love making fun of bad movies. I like getting lost in a bad movie. It's just so fun. Airplane Mode made it truly awful. It made me hate movies in general. It made me hate the entire medium that allowed this catastrophe to enter my life. It's truly just an affront to God and the universe itself. It's just that bad. I really can't shit on it enough. I'd really like if I could show you more from the movie itself, but I know the video would get blocked, so I'm not even going to bother. But man, it is just so unbelievably horrible. I wouldn't recommend this for a bad movie night or so bad it's good or haha, let's make fun of the YouTubers in here, because you can't. It's just mind-numbingly bad. Like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it gave me hemorrhoids again. It's so bad. Really just super bad. That's it. So yeah. You've been hearing a ton of stories about how terrible the new Cats movie is, but I can assure you, it's worse than you're imagining. This movie is stinkier than 2 septic tanks colliding and erupting into a volcano of shit. It is a bad movie. I'm not going to put it on the moist meter. Normally I moist meter movies, but this is one I really want to get into because I genuinely cannot believe that this was put on the big screen with the cast that it has. It is nuts. I took a shit at the movie theater before the movie, which is very rare for me. I don't usually have to unload ass before a movie, but I couldn't hold it this time. And the process of the turd leaving my asshole and hitting the water was a more thrilling adventure than the entirety of the movie. It is just so boring and bad by all possible measures, and it doesn't take long to figure out that it doesn't look very good. If you watch any of the promotional material, you can see how bad the cats actually look, and in the full movie they're even worse because a lot of times the quality dips on some of the cats, so they look even worse. They look like fucking Lara Croft's polygon tits from the PS1 in their face. It's weird. It reminds me of the old Xbox 360 feature that they tried out for a little while, where you could scan your face with a little webcam, and then you could put it on your NBA character or your Rainbow Six Vegas character, and it always looked like some type of car accident victim on your face. That's how the cats look in this. Their little CGI shit here, it looks terrible. And the cats move around really weird, so they're always on like all four, kind of prowling around, but then sometimes they'll stand up and start snapping and shit like this, which I guess is supposed to look like, you know, how cats move. But I've never seen a cat that moves like that. They fucking move around like zombies, like these drunk-ass zombies. It looks like Lego figurines that are being like snapped around and broken for a machinima. They move hauntingly. And I had to fight to stay awake in this movie because it was so genuinely boring, where every song ended up sounding exactly the same and there's only singing. There's no like actual story or dialogue. There is a story, but there's no like actual dialogue to get it across. It's only expressed through song and dance, and all of the songs and dances are so similar that I was just falling asleep. But I didn't want to fall asleep because I didn't want to miss a second of this train wreck, and I knew if I fell asleep there I'd be having some absolutely horrible nightmares and I'd wake up fucking semi-chubbed and covered in piss or something, because it's horrifying. Everything looks terrible in this movie. It looks awful. A truly awful looking movie. And there's some really weird looking cats too. Like there's one called like Scrimble Skank, Scrimble Cat, who's like a railway cat, and he looks like Super Mario if Mario was a tap dancing stripper. The choices on these characters' looks is so disturbing throughout the entirety of this film. I just can't believe that people would sign up for this. I'd rather have my sex tape leaked than be caught acting in this movie. It'd be less embarrassing. Being put on the sex offenders registry would be easier to explain to friends and family than explaining your role in this film to them. It's just so embarrassing. And apparently the actors and actresses went to cat school for this. I can't even imagine what that kind of training dojo would look like. It must smell like shit, full of just like degenerate actions going on there. But apparently they went to cat school to learn how to act like cats, and it doesn't show. That training did not pay off. They autopiloted those courses, or those teachers, those senseis, just, they don't know what they're teaching because nothing looks like cats in here. I could have acted in this as one of the cats, and it would have been right at home with what everyone else was doing. It was the most simple actions, like how a 4-year-old would act like a cat. It's not like they really showed that they had this kind of immense training in cat actions and the physiology of cats, method acting. It's just really garbage. And this movie has a story. It's not good, but it does have one, and there's only 2 plot points in it. I'm going to get into some spoilers now just to talk a little bit more in depth about what makes it bad aside from just the obvious stuff. The story is as follows. Spoiler. The cats are competing to ascend and be reborn. It's a competition among all these cats to be reborn, and the entire movie is bringing in new cats that have their own theme song and dance. So it's basically just WWE intros for all these new cats that come in that want to be reborn. And the main villain is Nightcrawler. Well, he has the powers of Nightcrawler from the X-Men, who can just, snap his fingers and he says like meow and he vanishes into dust like and then transports people onto a ship to get them out of the contest. Those are the only two plot points, that villain and that note. And towards the end of the movie, there's a cat who's been alone this entire time, and all that cat wants to do is have friends and be accepted into society. And at the end of the movie, the main character brings that cat in, and everyone falls in love with that cat. She's got all these friends. And then the main cat, Udo Thurnanobedin, I already forgot the goddamn name because the names are goddamn awful. It's impossible to remember them. But the main cat that's choosing who ascends decides that that cat should ascend. So how does she ascend and get reborn? Well, naturally, they send him away on a goddamn air balloon suicide mission. So this cat that just wanted friends this entire time finally gets all of her friends. She's in this club now. She's part of the family. Is chosen to ascend on a fucking suicide run. Like, that's not a satisfying conclusion. You have this whole movie built up over how great the being reborn and shit it's going to be. Everyone's fighting for it. And then finally, the one cat that gets everything she wants and is finally part of this family gets it taken away. Gets thrown into this fucking flying chandelier hot air balloon contraption going straight to heaven. I mean, that's not a good conclusion. Like, if you think about that, that's fucking sad. She went the entire movie totally alone and is finally brought in only to have it immediately taken away, and it's supposed to be like a reward? I mean, you don't see her get reborn. She doesn't come back. She just gets sent off to God knows where. Maybe she doesn't even die. Maybe she's just stranded and alone again in an unfamiliar area. It's a sad fucking conclusion. But it's not supposed to be. This is supposed to be like the highest reward possible, but it ends up being like suicide. It reminds me of like cult. I feel like these cats were just like this giant cult where they indoctrinated everyone, and now they're making her drink the Kool-Aid. It's terrible, and it's silly. It's weird. They're singing all these happy songs, but the whole time I'm thinking, this girl just got everything she wanted, and now you're killing her. You're sending her into the sun. It's a fucking weird conclusion. The whole movie's just not good, and it has these awful, awful, awful attempts at humor. The worst I've ever seen in the big screen, and I don't say that lightly. Genuinely the worst attempts at comedy possible, but you knew that was coming since James Corden's name's on this. But they actually, unironically, unashamedly say things like, look what the cat dragged in, or don't mess with the cat lady. It's bad. Super goddamn bad. And the last goddamn musical number in here lasts 5 minutes, and it's a tutorial on how to talk to your cat. It's horrible. And I really cannot explain why they decided to take it from the stage play to a movie, because at no point in this movie do they use anything that a play doesn't. The only thing this movie has that the play doesn't is horrible CGI. That is the only thing this movie has that makes it a movie outside of the play. Everything else could have just been a play that they recorded here. It is terrible. There was no reason to take it from a play to a movie if they're not even going to use anything movies can offer. There's really no incredible effects. There's nothing. It seems like most of it's like practical effects anyway, or at least it could be. The only two effects that they couldn't get in a play that they get here is the dust particles when the bad guy vanishes, McCavity when he vanishes, and the horrible, horrible, shitty CGI that this movie would be better without. I don't understand what the point was in translating this to a movie. It made it even creepier and significantly worse. I've never seen the play. I have no intention to, but I know that the play is definitely going to be better than this, because one of the biggest problems with this is how garbage and shitty it looks, which the play wouldn't suffer from because it's actual people and costumes and effects. Here it's horrible, 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 horrible animation that falls apart constantly. Sometimes if you look at the background characters during their dances, their limbs get all like fucking noodly, like in the DC movies when like the Flash runs and his limbs start popping out of place and he looks like a goddamn fucking wet noodle flying around. Yeah, some of the cats have that problem in the background here too. It's just not good. No matter how you spin this movie, even if you're a fan of musicals, like the biggest possible fan, the musicals don't translate well, because there's really like almost, well, I can't say no effort given to them because there is, but it's just not well done, because the musicals all blend together and become so samey that you start to wonder which musical you just heard and for what cat and what it was about, and was it even good? And the answer is no, because it really isn't. It's just a really shitty movie, and it's so horny. This movie is so incredibly horny. I felt like I was watching an illegal fetish. It's just a fucking really over-the-top sexual kind of movie. It's silly and sad and scary. Made me feel a lot of things movies don't make me feel. but I can assure you it didn't make me feel good. That's the one thing I can say for certain. I don't see who would enjoy this movie. I'm sure some people will somewhere out there. You know, I don't even see furries liking this, because this is not even furry bait. This doesn't even fall into any category or niche of furryism. This transcends everything we thought we knew about furries and shitty musicals. It's nuts. It's really bad, and I wouldn't recommend it even as a so bad it's good experience, because it was so bad that it made me want to fall asleep. But I didn't want to, because I don't like missing bad movies. It's just a boring, bad, not good, not fun time that I can't understand what the point of making it was. That's it. So yeah. I know it's a little early to call this, but I'm going to go ahead and put this in the books that I think we just got the worst movie that 2024 will experience. We basically got the Lord of the Rings Gollum for movies already this year. And I know I said something similar when Night Swim dropped a couple months ago, but I think Megamind 2 Doom Syndicate is much worse, and I'd like to explain why. It just dropped today, and I've already had the entire day ruined by watching it, so I wouldn't wish that curse upon my worst enemy. I know that's not shocking news, there's no one surprised to hear that this is horrible, but I was certainly surprised at just how atrocious it is. Just by giving it the old eyeball test, everyone who looked at any of the trailers or like the 6-minute sneak peek they gave could immediately recognize that they really brought their A game when making Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. And by A game, I mean ass game. This shit looks like turbo ass. Fuck me, it's an eyesore to watch. And the only known cure for sore eyes, as recommended by optometrists, is Godslap, baby. That's right, the worst movie of the year may have just dropped, but the best comic of the year just came out. Godslap issue 5 is here right now. You can pick up a copy at badegg.co, link in the description. First of all, it follows a beloved animated film from 2010. The original Megamind was a huge hit, people really liked it, and that was 14 years ago. So it's old enough now to be calling your mother a whore on Xbox Live. And out of nowhere, Peacock announced that they were going to be releasing the sequel this year. And people were pumping their fists like, yeah, more Megamind, let's go! Until they watched the trailer. Immediately, you can see that the Megamind sequel looks significantly worse than the original. Not only does it look worse than the movie from 2010, it looks worse than the video games from 2010 that were just shovelware. The Megamind PlayStation game, which was legitimately just a quick cash grab because that was during the era where every movie had a subsequent game release, just to continue double dipping, double fisting into the consumer's pocketbook. It somehow looks worse than that game, which again was just a quick cash grab. So what was the point? I don't really get it. After watching the movie, it really seems like they did this purely out of obligation, or they did this to test if AI could make a full movie. And I know that's a criticism that gets tossed around a lot, but I really do think AI had a strong hand in the creation of Megamind Doom Syndicate. There's just no reason for its existence. I'd call it a waste of money, but it doesn't feel like they spent any money on it in the first place. Like everyone could recognize from the trailer, it looks horrible. It's as cheaply made as possible. Jimmy Neutron is more visually appealing than this. I don't get why the fuck they'd make it to begin with. It's not like they even really had a story to tell either. It's as simple as it gets. Megamind's the hero now. The Doom Syndicate, they want him to be evil again, so he puts on this facade that he's evil and only pretending to be a hero. And it's just such a snooze fest. Like nothing happens at all because they didn't want to animate anything at all. So even when you reach the end of the movie where they're having like the final showdown between Megamind and the Doom Syndicate, it looks like you're watching a scene out of the Butt Ugly Martians. They put no effort into any aspect of this. I thought maybe they were saving the budget for the final fight, but that was actually the worst animation for the entire film, surprisingly. So the final fight, it's basically one move for each member, and it defeats them. So, the hypnotist, he gets defeated because Megamind pours a little bit of concrete on him. The lady who's controlling the weather, shooting lightning, she gets defeated because he has her shoot the lightning, and it redirects at her, and it defeats her. And her defeat is a clip I'd really love to play because it is the perfect example of how lazy this shit is. The lightning hits her, and she's like, ooh! and then they don't bother animating anything, so what they do is they just drag her down, and then she falls over. The word stiff doesn't even do it justice. It really feels like this was left in by accident, like it was like the pre-viz, before they go in and polish it up, but then they just said, fuck it, run it, just print it as is. It's so bad. There's nothing in here that's even remotely interesting. The writing is just the safest, by-the-numbers, formulaic lines ever, non-stop puns out the wazoo, which really makes me feel like AI had a large role to play in it, because a lot of the puns feel like something ChatGPT would spit out if you're trying to do like a comedy night with it. It just doesn't work at anything it even aims to do, because it doesn't aim to do anything. It's just actually a waste of an hour and 25 minutes. I think it's actually just there to be noise for children. Like, there's no other purpose for it. It's just a lot of fucking noise for kids. But it doesn't realize that in this day and age, kids get unlimited amount of noise through things like TikTok, where parents just sit them down in front of an iPad and they just endlessly doom scroll TikTok. This is going to be boring even to them, because the attention span has rotted so far, deteriorated to such a alarming degree. This wouldn't do anything. Like, I don't think kids are going to be, Megamind Doom Syndicate fans, because it's fucking boring. I can't think of a single redeeming quality about this movie. Pretty much no one can. It has like a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes, so not even like the most generous critics in the world can drum up a single compliment for it. I would hesitate to call this better than Food Fight, which is that animated disaster that I'm sure everyone remembers because it's been memed to death. It is infamous in how bad Food Fight is, and I would say that this isn't really any better. I would actually say that this is more soulless than Food Fight at the very least. The only thing worse than watching Megamind Doom Syndicate is watching Megamind Rules, the TV show spin-off that they also released the same day as this movie. So, big surprise if you didn't get this news. They released this sequel movie, Super Stinker, and then they also said, and guess what? There's more, and released an 8-episode TV series. And holy shit, the TV series is even worse. I didn't watch all 8 episodes, I couldn't. I made it through 3. I don't know if there's a human being strong enough on this planet to power through all 8 of those episodes without blowing their brains out. It is torturous. It's so insultingly bad. And yes, I get that this is made for kids, but that doesn't mean that it has to be unwatchably shitty. Avatar: The Last Airbender. The primary audience was made for kids, but anyone of all ages can appreciate it. A good show, even if it's aimed at a younger audience, can be appreciated and enjoyed by people of all ages. That's the sign of good, high-quality entertainment. This is definitely not that. I think they would have been better off just making a Megamind world in Fortnite custom games. It would have at least been a little more entertaining, I imagine, if you put little mini games in there or something. But watching the movie or the show here is just not worth it at all to anybody of any age, I imagine. Like I said, I don't see this being a hit with children because it's, at its core, boring. It's a nothing burger. There is nothing that happens in the show or movie at all. At most, what you'll get is Megamind firing his blaster, and that's it. There's really nothing else. The villains barely use their powers at all, really. I mean, they kinda do, but they only use it for, like, a single projectile each, mainly. It's just, it's so lame. I don't think anyone is going to like this at all. And I'm not saying the only way for this to have been successful is to have a ton of action or anything, but Jiminy Christmas, it certainly would have helped keep you awake when watching it. The writing is just so bad. Like, even, like, for a kid's show, it's bad. SpongeBob is a kid's show, and that has great writing. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are or anything. It has great writing if you're fucking 3 years old or 30 years old. Megamind, I don't think it's going to appeal to any age whatsoever. Like, if you put this on, if you put on Megamind Rules while you are pregnant, even your fetus would be bothered by it. It'd start kicking and throwing a tantrum inside your belly. It'd be trying to find ways to strangle itself with the umbilical cord or something. Like, it is miserable. No one, I think, will like this. Megamind vs. Doom Syndicate sucks as a movie. Megamind Rules sucks as a show. It was a waste of time. A complete waste of time. So yeah, that's really about it. See ya. You all know how much I love horrible, bad movies, and I am just giddy with excitement right now to talk about a movie I just saw that I now consider to be the goofiest film ever made. I just got back from the theater from seeing Moonfall, which is Roland Emmerich's new disaster porn. He's the man behind, like, 2012, Day After Tomorrow, some classics. And with this bad boy, he has created the stinker masterpiece, a smelly magnum opus. This movie, I can't even believe actually exists. I saw it in IMAX because I don't like to just watch a bad movie. I want to feel a bad movie, and goddamn did I feel it deep in my ass. This was an absolutely wild ride from start to finish. If somebody asked me what the best movie ever made was, I'd say Moonfall. If someone asked me what the worst movie ever made was, I'd say Moonfall. I don't know whether to give Moonfall a 100% on the moist meter or a 0. This fucking thing was so beautifully awful in all of the perfect ways. I just can't describe it. It is the actual perfect storm of dog shit put into film. The movie was like 2 hours long, and I swear to God, it felt like 20 minutes. I was upset when this movie ended. I just wanted it to keep going and going. This movie could have ran 8 hours, and I wouldn't have complained if it kept up this intensity. It was an amazing experience. So, spoiler alert, I want to go into it. I really want to fucking peel apart these stinky cheeks and tell you all about this movie start to finish. And let me just go ahead and say, this movie had the audacity to try and hint at a universe, like a Moonfall extended universe, kind of like the Marvel or Star Wars universe they created. Moonfall did that towards the end, and I need a sequel. The human race deserves a sequel to Moonfall. So let's get into it. So the movie starts with our main character, Brian, played by Patrick Wilson, in space with our other extremely important character, I forgot her name already, but played by Halle Berry. That's another thing about this movie. I saw it with Andrew, and the second we left the theater, we couldn't remember a single one of the characters' names apart from, like, Brian and the cat's name, which was Fuzz Aldrin. So, like, that's another thing. Like, all the characters are super forgettable. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson's character, they're in space working on the space shuttle. And there's another character there with them that's helping, and then all of a sudden, a massive cloud of space dust blasts the ship. It tears it to pieces, knocks out Halle Berry, and it sends Brian, like, scrambling to get inside. And then the other guy, who I don't even know if they even gave a name to, his line gets cut, and he just gets sent, like, quadruple backflipping through space for all eternity and dies. And then when they arrive back at Earth, they blame Brian for the whole event, despite there being camera footage of this space dust being the culprit, destroying the ship. They're blaming Brian. They're like, you are a disgrace. Your negligence caused the death of an astronaut and the destruction of so much money worth of, NASA parts. You're going off book now. Get out of NASA. So then he gets fired. His wife leaves him. His kid hates him. He's now like this drunkard who is really just scraping by and struggling. For some reason, the whole trial was public and he's insisting he was innocent. It was this very strange technological space dust that just fucking flew through like a fart. And he traced it back to a corner, like a quarter of the moon called like Mars Capri Sun or something. I already forgot the name of it. But no one believed him. Everyone mocked him. He got fired. His life ruined as a result. And then we're introduced to a very important character called KC. KC is a conspiracy theorist who really cracks the code that the moon is falling out of orbit. And KC believes it's because the moon is actually a megastructure put there by aliens. So he has his own little group of conspiracy theorists that also believe in the megastructures. And he tries very hard to bring this information to NASA to let them know that the moon is out of orbit, shit's gonna get rough. So just like in Majora's Mask, the moon is coming closer to Earth, and the closer it gets to Earth, the worse it is for humans because the gravitational pull from Earth will rip apart the moon, sending all of these giant chunks into the planet, destroying pretty much everything. A doomsday event, an apocalypse. And no one's believing KC, even though he has all of the research and evidence to back it up. So eventually he turns to Twitter. And he makes an anonymous post with all of the evidence, and miraculously overnight the entire world believes him. It becomes the #1 trend, and every single news outlet everywhere is talking about it. NASA comes forward to corroborate it. Now everyone knows, yep, moon's about to fuck our shit up. So then they all try and come up with plans, and I swear to God, every character in this movie makes the stupidest decisions at every possible moment. It blew me away. It's like every character, even the ones that are supposed to be smart, like the scientists, are like lobotomized zombies. They get nothing right. None of it makes sense at all. But even suspending disbelief, you can't help but just sit there and scratch your head like there's no way they just said or did that. Like, I'm trying to sum it up to give you the cliff notes before I like start really dissecting it. So once it's been confirmed that the moon's coming to the Earth, Brian, the disgraced astronaut, teams up with Casey. They hang out for a bit, and then Halle Berry, who's still employed by NASA, just out of nowhere sends a helicopter to pick both of them up to help them defeat the moon, because now the moon's like a raid boss. So then they come up with a plan to like take an EMP device to the moon. Everyone believes them now. Also, NASA confirmed all of this and then like really figured they needed Brian's help, because they sent like a crew of 3 astronauts up to check out that crater, and then the giant space dust came up in the shape of like a goddamn ringworm, and it kills all 3 of them. So then they conclude like, yep, there's something weird and wacky going on with the moon. It's got some kind of artificial intelligence living inside of it. So then that's when Brian and Casey come. My God. I really want to get deeper into it, but I want to give everyone like the full overview of the movie so you can see it. This whole movie is like taking the insanity of a Neil Breen movie, but giving it $100 million to realize the craziness. Better example for all the weebs. If you've seen Gurren Lagann, where they start like underground, and then by the end of the show, they're in space mechs throwing galaxies at each other. It's that, but for pseudoscience and conspiracies. It's fucking mind-blowing. So, Brian, Casey, Halle Berry, they're at NASA. Everyone knows Doomsday's coming, so they're all, for some reason, taking refuge in Colorado. The word Colorado must have been mentioned a million fucking times throughout this movie. This had to be just some kind of propaganda to increase tourism there or something. And also, you see Kaspersky on billboards, and apparently all of NASA is powered by Kaspersky antivirus, because every time they fire on a computer, it just says Kaspersky. And that's all there is on the screen. It's just like they look at Kaspersky and things start helping. But I keep getting too specific. Again, everyone's at NASA. They come up with a plan. They get this old EMP device that they're going to take to the moon and blow up the space worm. And this also confirms that space dust that blew up the ship that Brian was on initially were nanobots from the AI. So they've got the plan. They've got the EMP. They've now got Brian to pilot it. But something goes wrong. The moon's getting closer, so an earthquake happens, and it cracks the coolant in one of the engines, and it plays out exactly like this. I'm not exaggerating. Halle Berry and Brian go up to check out what's going on. One guy says, the coolant's leaking, and I don't know how to fix it. No one here can really fix it. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, all right, well, that's the end of the mission. I guess everyone needs to go home. So every single person at NASA, except for Halle Berry, Casey, and Brian, as well as 2 other data analysts and a couple of military guys, all leave and abandon the Earth and just like, yep, I guess we just have to accept this is the apocalypse and there's nothing we can do. Just because one of the coolants was leaking a little bit, and then the solution, I shit you not, was we'll just fly without it. Apparently the entire time they could just fly without it because the moon was close enough, and Casey knew that and then relayed the information a little late to Halle Berry, and she just didn't bother to call anyone back. She's like, all right, well, I already told them they can leave. They can go. We can do it ourselves. So then we get our heroes strapping into the spaceship, ready to take on the moon. And as the moon's getting closer, it's causing gravitational disturbances. So there's water that's getting sucked up, and it's like giant waves of water that are just standing there. And those 2 like data analysts that stayed behind that I briefly mentioned, they get evacuated. They get into a helicopter with the military people because the waves are getting closer as the moon's passing over. And I can't even believe this fucking happened. They take off with plenty of time to escape, but instead of going away from the waves, the goddamn pilot kamikazes into the waves, and it's supposed to be this emotional moment of, oh my God, there is no escape. But like you can see, when the helicopter takes off, it could have just gone right, but instead inexplicably just goes left into the waves. And I'm missing so many impressive details. Brian's son, who hates him, went to jail. Brian got him out of jail. And for some reason, the military flew Brian's son here just to be in like the middle of the shitstorm. So Brian's son's there and then needs to take off in a car away from the facility as the waves are getting closer. But instead of taking off, he goes to a mountain and parks just to check out his dad's spaceship as the waves are getting closer. So the spaceship takes off, it's beating the waves, but his son and then Halle Berry's son is also with him, and then their babysitter are all just in this car, outside of his car watching. And then eventually the kid's like, all right, now it's time to probably go. As the waves are literally like bashing the bumper of the car, it's like, okay, we've had our fun. So then they engage on this high-speed chase against the moon. And then they eventually get hunted by people that are like scavenging for parts. Oh my god, it's so much. So everything on Earth's going to shit. The gravity's all fucked up. Halle Berry, Brian, and Casey are now heading towards the moon. And it turns out the AI that inhabits the moon is attracted to electronics, but only if there's organic life inside of it. So the EMP they brought is useless because the AI won't bite it. So they're using it like bait and trying to fish with it. But for some reason it needs to be inside of it. They don't explain why. The AI was circling it and like playing patty cake with the EMP and they didn't blow it up for no reason. They just concluded that it needs to be inside. So they get the EMP back and go deeper in the moon. And it turns out the moon is actually a Dyson sphere built by aliens, confirming Casey's theory that also happens to grow potatoes inside of it for some reason. And it's a Dyson sphere encapsulating a white dwarf that it's using for its power source. And the AI is sapping the power from the white dwarf. And then the AI gets alerted to the crew that's in the spaceship that's flying around. And then a door opens in the Dyson sphere as the AI is tracking them. And it shuts, closing out the AI and then saving the crew. And then it turns out that the Dyson sphere wasn't built by just any aliens. It was built by ancient humans. And they communicate to Brian through celestial beams and flashbacks of his son talking to him, kind of like in Mass Effect 3 where the Reapers take on the body of a child. They did that for Brian in order to talk to him. It was a sentient AI being, like it was an AI construct for the Dyson sphere. It was built by humans that billions of years ago were spacefaring, hyper-advanced technological superstars. And eventually they created an AI that turned on them via kind of like Skynet, and it made all of them go extinct. But before their final extinction, they built giant moons that they would toss out to corners of the universe to try and remake humanity elsewhere. And this just happened to be the last surviving one, the only one the AI couldn't find until this movie. So that's the explanation there. Eventually they upgrade the EMP, the AI construct on the moon, like turbocharges the EMP, then gets some defense systems going that just start shooting bullets at the AI. And then they're escaping the moon. Casey blasts open the hatch with himself inside because he says, you know, an organic being needs to be with the technology in order for the AI to bite me. And he's like, oh my god, Casey's gonna die. Brian and Halle Berry are upset, and Casey's like, no, it's fine. So the AI starts eating him, and he's like, you underestimated us. Blows up the EMP. And then, you know, Casey's dead. AI's gone now, so the moon is back. So then the moon leaves Earth. And now it's just this giant Dyson sphere that is now outside of Earth, and everyone's happy. Earth's super fucked. Everything flooded. Everything got absolutely destroyed, but there's still some people left, and now the moon's our friend again. And, yeah, that's not where it ends. So Casey didn't actually fully die. The AI construct on the moon installation actually copied his consciousness into their database, and now Casey has become the moon itself. And the last line is, we have work to do, which hints at expanding the universe and bringing all of the other AI that is still out there into the fold. And my god, I can't wait to see a sequel. I pray there is one, because this was amazing. I am not even doing this justice with my brief explanation. I need to get into the nitty-gritty of it to tell you just how fucking off the wall this shit was. So the billion-year-old humans, they basically just created Halo. They just stole Halo's plot for a little bit. The installations they made back then were Halo rings. They all lived on Halo rings. And the AI they made, for some reason, turned on them like Cortana. Almost in the same fashion. They deemed that humans weren't worth saving and that they were inferior to them, and just started wiping them out inexplicably. Like, this movie is fucking incredible. Like, the visuals were kind of cool. Like, you know, you always like to see those big budget disaster visuals. And when they'd have the moon peeking over the earth, it looked cool. And they had awesome lines such as, "Watch out, the moon is rising." And then all of a sudden, like, boats would be flying overhead. Fucking manatees falling onto the ground. Oh my god, it was so good. And there was like an advertisement for Alexis. Because when there was these people, the scavengers that were hunting down the son, eventually the son meets up with Brian's wife and her new husband that cucked him or whatever. And they're on this high-speed chase, and they can't get away, right? These scavengers, they're so fast, and they want their oxygen tanks. And they're in a Lexus, and they keep zooming in on the Lexus and like throwing it, drifting around. And the dad goes, "Hold on, I'm putting this into warp speed." And they zoom in on the Lexus logo, and then him turning from economy mode to sport mode, and then it fucking turbocharges and goes wild. Then they're able to outrun him. This movie, man, is actual fucking genius. Like, I can't talk enough about it. Every single moment of this movie, when you think they've run out of stupid juice, finds another way to make it even dumber. And I couldn't appreciate it more. I loved it. I fucking loved it. I don't even know how you make a movie this dumb. On accident, too. Like, this isn't a self-aware movie. There is no self-awareness in this movie at all. There's a couple of jokes, but they're not like self-aware jokes. They're just like general, decently written jokes. But nothing is self-aware. It really takes itself super seriously, and I love that about it. The best kind of bad movie is one where the director really wanted to do something special but just didn't have the talent or the vision to realize it. And this is one of those cases. It is, in every possible department, the best way to make a bad movie. It is the worst and goofiest movie in all of the right ways. I just don't think you could make a movie this stupid on purpose. This movie was just an amazing experience. This was something truly special. If you like bad, shitty movies, this is the movie to go see. This is going to be 2022's best stupid movie, I think. It would be tough to beat this one. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I've had a smile on my face ever since leaving the theater. There's still so much more I could talk about with this movie. I've barely even scratched the surface of lunacy with Moonfall. But it just, without you having seen the movie, it's not going to make as much sense. And sense is a word that is blasphemous to even use in the same sentence as Moonfall. That word never once crossed the mind of anyone who touched the script for this. The whole movie just felt like it was kids going and then trying to one-up each other. Nothing connects logically. Obviously, nothing here is mathematically, scientifically accurate, or even common sense accurate. Like, everything is wrong in the perfect ways. Like, for example, they're able to find everyone in the world just because. So, like, when they find Brian and Casey, they're in, like, this fucking random hotel somewhere, and somehow they just get found because. Or, like, the family is trekking through snow at the very end, and somehow they just make it to where they need to be without dying along the way and then get found. Like, everything, it just happens because fuck it. And I love that about it. It's so shameless in its horribleness. It was amazing. Just an incredible experience that I wanted to talk about a little bit. That's about it. So yeah. Pacific Rim ripoff movie. Oh, is this like a Metal Iron Man hero? Oh my god, it's like Spy Kids 3D. This role at all. They should have had me play that role. I would have put some real passion behind it. God damn. Fucking delivering that line flat. He needs to put emotion in it. I'll have his head on my wall. Like that, you see? So this says that it's in French. But does that just mean it's subtitled in French, or did they have like the SpongeBob French crew dub it? How the fuck can Asylum have the budget to have an entire French dubbing crew do this? I wonder if 10 clips is enough to get the whole movie. I love the wetsuit Power Rangers. Looks like the guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Is this their wild card? God, I wish we could have watched the whole movie. But I think now we're caught up enough where we could watch Atlantic Rim Recreation. Damn, he's going for like a cane choke slam on this guy.
Undercover informant in a biker gang.
Oh god.
I did it to save my own skin.
But then I got abducted by
Over
aliens.
the next 3.
Which one are you?
Well, yeah, obviously it's gonna be a reenactment. I don't think they were gonna like smuggle in a camera for the sake of YouTube videos. It's like Breakout, man.
I guess, bro.
And now they need a new one.
So they called on Chris Chan. This is Sonichu Undercover.
It affects the neurotransmitters in the brain.
Bro, I don't care about your meth tutorial. I want to see you undercover.
Dopamine is all about pleasure.
But it all changed when they downvoted my Reddit post. How is it going, Broadway enthusiasts and people who like musicals? Good news all around. Cats just got a live-action trailer, and it's so fucking bad that a storm is lingering over my house, just even talking about this unholy abomination. I promise it wasn't thundering until I started watching the trailer, so that's gotta be a bad omen for the movie. I know nothing about Cats, I'm not going to lie and sit here pretend that I'm a connoisseur when it comes to the musical. I know nothing about it. The extent of my knowledge comes from Hey Arnold's episode where they have a parody of it called Rats. That's about the most I know about it. I looked into it after looking at the trailer to get a feel for it, and it doesn't seem like something I'd enjoy. But I know no one liked this trailer. Fans of the musical don't like it. Fans of movies don't like it because it's fucking painful to look at and just downright disgusting to look at at points. It's just scary, downright nightmarish. And I know furries don't like it. And if furries don't like a movie with anthropomorphic cats, then you know you have fucked up in a pretty big way. Let me show you some pictures here. I can't play the trailer because I'll definitely get fucking copyright fisted with that, so I'm not going to take that chance. But I'll show you some pictures. It looks gross. The characters don't look very good. Very uncanny valley looking shit. It looks like Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat doggy-styled the Animorphs series and led to this thing's creation. The characters just don't look good. The main complaint is how it looks, because aside from the characters, the backgrounds, the sets, they look pretty beautiful. The music even sounds nice. It's not my cup of tea, but I can recognize good music when I hear it. But man, the primary focus of the movie is going to be on these characters, and yet they are almost impossible to look at without getting squeamish. There's just something embedded in human DNA that makes us afraid of things that look like this. I just don't know what they were thinking here, especially after all the backlash the Sonic the Hedgehog movie got for its gross-looking anthropomorphic character. It's as if the team behind this movie just hates cats and wanted to make it look as gross as possible. It's almost like they raided the dumpster of the Sonic the Hedgehog creative team just looking for an old abortion that they had an idea for Sonic, and then they took it out of the dumpster and made it the primary look for the entire Cats cast. And the cast is fucking stacked. They have an incredible cast here, except for James Corden. I'm not a James Corden fan. I would rather anyone in the world replace him in this movie. It'd be infinitely better. Not that the movie's shaping up to be something great, but I just really don't like James's work at all. I would rather see my high school bully take that role than James. I'd have more fun watching my bully succeed than watching James. With that aside, again, the main problem I and everyone else has about the Cats trailer is just how the characters look. It just doesn't look good. It looks like wrinkled nutsacks with those little anime cat ears on top of it. It's just looking really odd. This looks like something I would have found in the late 90s surfing through channels at 3 a.m. and then started questioning whether or not I ever saw it to begin with. Just one of those like fever dreamish productions you'd see on TV late at night back in the early 90s. It just looks like one of those things that you just can't even believe exists. You have to question whether or not what you saw is really something that was made. Honestly, I just have to wonder if they're going to stick with this design decision. I understand that it's really far along into production, I'm guessing. I mean, when you're releasing a trailer like this, you're pretty married to the style, but Sonic the Hedgehog, which suffered the exact same problem this movie is suffering from, decided to just push back the release date and completely redo Sonic's look. I'm hoping they'll make him look even worse, just kind of as like a big joke. I'm imagining they'll probably try and stick more to the original character to look better, whatever. That's kind of boring, wish it was still shitty. But I wonder if the Cats production team will do a similar move where they delay the movie to redo how the characters look, or if that's even possible in this case, because Sonic is entirely CGI with no actors really performing and doing any facial stuff, whereas here it is still facial shit from the characters contributing to what you see on screen. So I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if they'll do it. I'm excited to see this movie now because I like movies that are just bad, like fun bad, not boring bad. This looks like it'll be a fun bad movie. And yeah, that's really just about it. So yeah. I just saw Megalopolis. Wow.
It was like embarrassing sitting there watching that. I actually felt shame just being there witnessing that disaster of a movie. And to make it worse, insult to injury, I watched it right after Joker 2. So I just made the review for Joker 2. Spoiler, that movie was also bad. This movie was worse for sure, but man, what an unholy 1-2 combo that was. This was like a punch flurry that not even Mike Tyson could deliver, going back to back with Joker and then Megalopolis. So I took a shower before talking about Megalopolis because I know I'm going to get heated on this because it's just so weird. This movie had over $100 million budget. And I don't get why. I don't get it. I already made like a whole rant about that with like these inflated budgets, but this film in particular it's so stupid to have a budget that big because it's a movie devoid of a single element of a story. It has things that happen, sure, but it is such a fucking mess. This is a movie that smells of pretentiousness. It's very clear this wanted to be deeper than it is. This is a movie that wasn't made for any audience in particular. It was made for critics. It was made for people that love the smell of their own farts to pretend like they understand the subtle vicissitudes that the director was trying to convey. But in this film, it doesn't even work with that niche, because even critics don't like it. It's just not very good, like at all. It is a disjointed, like actual fever dream experience. So let's just dive into it. There's going to be spoilers, fair warning. This is a movie that I feel like it's almost impossible to spoil because there isn't really a movie here. It's a collection of random shit that happens. It's like a collection of Francis Ford Coppola's memories from dreams that he had that he tries to piece together loosely here. Very similar to like how the Rick and Morty anime does it. Like this is the Rick and Morty anime with $100 million budget. I'm also pretty sure every actor in here was just directed to be as weird as they possibly can. So Shia LaBeouf, for example, he's in this movie and he dials his like wackiness up to 11. So like in the very beginning of the movie, they're like going to this big press thing about something that they're opening, and Shia LaBeouf's there, and his uncle is also Caesar's uncle, and he's like, I heard you're doing the hanky pank with your sisters. Can you stop that? And Shia LaBeouf's like, no, I won't stop that. So he's like doing this, and then he like grabs the railing and he like kicks his feet up. He goes, and then he like puts himself in a dress in the next scene, like also still doing those mannerisms and stuff. And also Adam Driver as Caesar, someone I thought was supposed to be like this cavalier, like genius guy. He's kind of the same way. So at that same press event, he's there and he's giving a monologue, and he is actually a Reddit mod. So Caesar's character, I am 100% sure is inspired by like the quintessential Reddit mod that everybody pictures in their head. The way he carries himself, the way he talks, he's always some of this. And like the way he speaks to people is so fucking cringe. Like actual Discord admin level shit. So like there's a scene where the mayor's daughter shows up and he talks to her. He's like, ugh, Jiminy Christmas. But he doesn't say Jiminy Christmas. But he scoffs. He's like, ugh, you, of course, you've wandered into my quarters. I'd prefer if you weren't here. I don't like to dawdle with the riffraff. I prefer to carry myself in conversations with those that like to think, so we can have intellectual discussions on important subjects. So if you wouldn't mind excusing yourself from my abode, I would be much appreciative of that. Why don't you go see yourself back to the club and get out? And he says that, by the way. That wasn't verbatim, but he literally says club like that. It's awful. It's terrible to listen to. But I will say it is fun bad pretty often, actually. I did find myself audibly saying, what the fuck, with a smile on my face and giggling occasionally at how horrible what I was watching is. Because it's really shitty, but sometimes in an unintentionally entertaining way. It tries to be so profound and falls flat on its fucking face. So let's begin. I don't think the movie is dog shit out of the gate. In fact, I actually quite like the visuals in this film, like the style of it I think is interesting. But by the time it gets to the halfway point, you're already so lost in the sauce here that you have no clue what's happening. So it all just becomes kind of worthless anyway. But I do think there is a style here that is unique. However, the visuals really are hit or miss. There are times where it looks really good. Like, it seems like, hey, this is a big budget production. And then there's times where it actually looks like they filmed it at our warehouse in front of our green screen. Like, there are some of the worst green screen moments in here that I've seen in a modern film. Like, it makes some of DC's biggest stinkers for CGI look like award winners. I don't know what happened and why there's some incredible visuals here and then some absolute, like, Adobe After Effects first year attempt, like, visuals. I don't get it. So something definitely went awry in the pipeline here for the production, but overall, I do think the style is eye-catching. Now, the beginning of the film isn't super dog shit. It's not like Turbo Cheeks or anything. It actually is almost cohesive. They introduce our two main characters that we're going to be seeing a lot of. It's Adam Driver playing Caesar, who is like this genius architect who's found like the god particle basically called Megalon. And it's Giancarlo Esposito playing Cicero, who is the mayor, who does not like Caesar. They butt heads constantly. And the film, like, it's not like it's a mess because I'm too stupid to understand it. I know that's a lot of cope people like to try in a film like this, where they like stick their pinky out. The plebeians just simply couldn't understand this high art. What a shame. I understand it because I'm enlightened. That's not the case here. I actually think this movie is very easy to understand on the themes it's trying to get across in the beginning, where it actually had a semblance of a narrative. In the second half of the film, there's nothing. There's actually nothing. We'll get to that in a minute. It is a fucking battlefield of nonsense. But in the beginning, I think it's pretty clear. It's introducing characters that have different ideologies. So, like, there's a reporter who keeps fucking her way up the ladder, trying to get more and more power, more and more wealth. She has, like, a fling with Caesar. Caesar's somewhat of, like a playboy to a certain extent. He's like this genius, cavalier kind of guy. Cicero is really against what Caesar represents, which is change. He is trying to think about the future, whereas Cicero's focused on the present. And that's the big clash of ideals. So this is very clearly inspired by, like, the fall of Rome. They drill that home. They shove that down your fucking throat. Like, the location here is called New Rome. It's basically just New York, though. So the whole idea is the dreamer, the architect here, Caesar, wants to bring change. But the rich and powerful around him, they're pretty okay being stagnant and focusing more on, like, the present and just keeping people, like, occupied as opposed to getting ready for what comes next. Caesar has an uncle who's, like, the richest person in the fucking universe. His name's Hamilton, and he's beyond absurdly wealthy. So Caesar also has a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of influence. And the whole idea is he wants to use the Megalon particle to make Megalopolis, which will be a utopia, which is all about the future and getting the next generation ready for what comes. And also, Caesar has a superpower. He can stop time. Not only can he stop time, he can fully manipulate it. He controls time. And you'd think that'd be like an important component of this story. It's not. He does it maybe 3 times. And he really only does it when he wants to watch a building fall once. And then the other 2 times he does it is to kiss a girl. Oh, and then he does it one more time where he just shows that he can do it. He never actually uses it for anything. It is completely worthless, meaningless. I don't even know why they bothered giving him a superpower, other than what it represents. So here's where we get to, again, the double meanings and shit that like to try and get woven in here unsuccessfully because the film's just very underwhelming. The idea, I believe, that they're trying to convey with Caesar stopping time is one that they do kind of like hammer into you at one point because his love interest comes in after he's lost this power due to self-doubt. She kind of explains that art, every piece of art, uses time, manipulates time, controls time. Music turns time into rhythm. Architecture freezes time in these buildings, this and that. So the idea here with his superpower isn't necessarily that he's has the ability to control time, even though he literally does. It's more about the representation that his vision, his art, is the architecture and the ability to stop time with his creation. Now, his love interest, the reason she even gets interested in him in the first place is she happens to see him stop time. She doesn't get stopped. Everyone else around him gets frozen in time. She doesn't. She's able to like process it and like, wow, he can control time. Most people will be really impressed by that. And the idea here that they're trying to get across, I believe, is that she can see his artistic vision, and he is able to understand that she gets the vision, which is why he falls in love with her and her him. And this all would be fine and dandy if there was anything that comes from it. Like, they set up this shit, it's not that subtle, it's not very deep, it's all kind of like obvious, I think, for the most part, and they don't even do anything with it. It's just like a bunch of different fucking ideas that don't work together that get thrown in here. It's a waste of time. And it introduces so many plot elements that never play a role in this. So like the superpower, for example, it doesn't actually play a role in this at all. There's also a satellite that they introduce in the beginning that's about to like fall into the earth and maybe be a problem, but then they deem it's not that big of a deal because it's hitting somewhere kind of remote. And then eventually towards the end of the movie, here comes the satellite. It's changed course. It's going to hit New Rome directly. No! And then it hits New Rome, blows up like 3 buildings, and then it's never addressed again. Like, and then also there's a plot line where Caesar's wife died, and for some reason he was accused of murdering her. And Cicero, the mayor, was actually the DA at the time trying to pin murder on him. He was eventually acquitted of that. And then there's like this scene where he's buying flowers for his wife, except his wife's dead, so it's like kind of all in his head, but it shows like he still loved his wife. And I thought that was going to be a big component of this, but it's not. Turns out like he wasn't the best husband really, and his wife ended up like driving off a bridge and dying, and then something mysteriously happened to the body, and they accuse Caesar of like taking the body, except he didn't take the body. It was actually some kind of big cover up. And then Cicero, when he finds out that Caesar's like, you know, impregnated his daughter, he's like, listen, Caesar, I love my daughter, and here's a red envelope that has my confession about your wife's body, which is never addressed again. Also, his wife's body never mattered in the plot. Also, his wife never mattered in the plot. The biggest thing that happened with his wife is where he like really offhandedly mentions that he found Megalon by trying to bring his wife back to life, and then that's it. Then he goes right back to making out and impregnating the mayor's daughter. All of these things get introduced, but don't actually mean anything or do anything. Like, there's a whole scene where the reporter that was fucking Caesar ends up marrying his uncle for his money, and they throw this big wedding at a coliseum where they have like wrestlers wrestling, and then they have this girl do a musical number, and she's like the virgin that New Rome sponsors. Like, she's a New Rome enforced virgin. So during this wedding celebration, there's a moment where she has a musical number, and then it leads to people like donating money for her virginity fund or something. Like, I don't even know what they're bidding on. Like, they start bidding. It gets up to like $100 million just to give her money for being a virgin. Like, it makes no sense. And then all of a sudden Shia LaBeouf's in this movie, acting like an absolute crazy person, which is fine, I guess, but it doesn't do anything. He's just like weird for the sake of being weird. It doesn't actually do anything for the plot. But anyway, Shia LaBeouf comes up with this nefarious plot to try and like hurt Caesar, so he deepfakes a video of him taking that girl's virginity, except she was underage. So then he starts to like get tried for like statutory rape, except then it turns out that the girl's 23, and then like the charges immediately get dropped. And then the whole thing with that girl, Caesar, the virgin, whatever, none of that ever gets addressed outside of the 10 minutes that became a plot point. It's like Francis Ford Coppola completely forgot it was even written in here. Like, it's just this complete nonsensical fucking dumpster fire of things that happen. And I can't even say happen, because a lot of things don't even really happen. Like, almost nothing happens. It is impossible to piece together what the actual plot is past the halfway point. And I'd say a little before the halfway point, it goes completely unhinged and off the rails. It falls apart, and it was barely even held together in the first place. But at least there was a semblance of where things were going. But then it just becomes indecipherable. It's like Finnegan's Wake visually. Like, just complete gibberish. So, like, the plot's moving forward. Eventually, like, Shia LaBeouf's character, Claudio, he starts leading a movement that's, you know, trying to push Caesar out, push the mayor out. He's leading the charge and like, getting into politics. Things aren't going super well for Caesar, who gets shot by a child as like an assassination attempt that Claudio was behind, but he survives because Megalon got fused with his skull, which regrew his whole brain and his whole face. So like, it's literally a god particle. It's like a magic particle that can just do anything, including building utopia. The girl who married the uncle then starts having sex with Claudio. So like, there's this whole uncomfortable scene. The girl is played by Aubrey Plaza, by the way. And so Aubrey Plaza goes up to Shia LaBeouf and she's like, your grandfather, we need to steal his money. You're a naughty boy, aren't you? And he's like, yes, Auntie Wow. Her name is Wow Platinum. That's the character's name, Wow Platinum. And this scene goes on for way too long, an uncomfortably long period of time, where she's like, does my ass look good in this? And he's like, yeah. And she said, no, yes, Auntie Wow. Say that. And he's like, yes, Auntie Wow. And then she like shoves her whole pussy in his face, and he starts eating her out, saying, thanks, Auntie Wow. And then she's like, do you want to fuck me? And he's like, yes, Auntie Wow. And then she goes over her plan to get Claudio to become the interim CEO to force out Hamilton so they can have all of his infinite wealth. So then they're together, and then they do execute that plan, and it kicks Hamilton out somehow. And then Hamilton has a heart attack, except he's faking it, so he's like in bed, and Claudio and Wow Platinum pay him a visit. And a lot of people, I think, talked about this scene because someone mentioned it on stream like 2 days ago. So this is the scene where Hamilton's in bed and they're around him, and he's still pretending to be like injured to a certain extent from the heart attack. So he says, one more thing. Do you like my boner? Because there's like something sticking up in the sheets. And like, do you like my boner? And then he takes the sheet off, and it's a little bow and arrow, like Cupid's bow and arrow. So he shoots a little arrow, which hits Aubrey Plaza in the heart, instantly killing Wow Platinum. And then he shoots 2 more arrows into the ass of Shia LaBeouf as he runs away. And he says, it's the closing bell, you Wall Street slut. Something like that before firing the arrow, killing Aubrey Plaza. It's bad. Like, it's bad, but like I said, it's kind of like fun shitty. Do you like my boner? Like, I mean, it got a little laugh out of me, the absurdity of it. Maybe that's the whole point of the movie, is just to be so incomprehensibly absurd that you're supposed to find enjoyment of it. But you're not really laughing with the movie, you're kind of laughing at it. Because it's a disaster. This movie is a disaster. So, like, even Megalopolis itself, what it is, like the utopia that Caesar is building, it's a fucking amusement park. He is literally making an amusement park. So you see Megalopolis at the end, like, he gets it made and everyone moves to Megalopolis, and somehow it's supposed to save the world, and somehow the mayor, who's been really adamant against it, thinking that Caesar's like this evil bad guy, this can never work, whatever, he ends up going there and he's like, wow, this place is fucking incredible. Wow, look at that. Yeah, this is going to save the world, but shake my hand and tell me that you're going to build diligently or something. He's like, yeah, of course. And the place is actually like little roller coasters. So you ride around on Pokeballs on these golden highways. Oh, actually, they're kind of like the little pods out of Jurassic World. You ride around on those in little golden highways, like tiny little highways, and all of the buildings are like seashells. It actually kind of reminds me of the concept art for Akon City. You remember that like scam Akon tried to run? It actually kind of looks like that. I think they took design elements from Akon City for Megalopolis. It's so silly. Like, somehow this is the utopia? This is what saves the world? Like, what? It was so dumb. Man, I could go on and on about, like, the insanity of this film. I just can't believe this got made, and I am even more stunned that this had over $100 million budget. What a waste of money. So, I know it's not doing well financially, so everyone's already made the joke calling it Megaflopolis, but man, it really is. This shit sucks. Like, I don't get it, what they were going for. Like, I get in the beginning what they tried to set up with, like, the pretty obvious imagery and, like, the ideologies that they introduced. Like, I get that, but then it just doesn't even follow any of that. Like, it doesn't even go down that path. It's just a complete mess. So, is Megalopolis worth watching? No. But if you like fun bad movies, this might be one to stream when it comes out. I think it is fun bad. I think it's more oftentimes enjoyably shitty than it is boringly shitty. Like, there was never a moment in the film where I was like, man, this is like unbearable to sit through. I was always like, okay, this is kind of dragging, but I know there's going to be something so stupid that it'll probably like breathe life back into this. And I was usually right. It is fun bad pretty often. So if you like shittily entertaining films, this one might be for you. But I would not recommend paying money to go see it under any circumstance. That's about it. See ya.